Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. General Hospital spoilers, Tuesday, May 28 recap. Brennan warns Carly to stay far away. Alexis horrible phone call. General Hospital, EHA spoilers recap for Tuesday, May 28 reveals that Carly Spencer, Laura Wright, quizzed Jack Brennan, Charles Mashore, about his stabbing during a flirty visit at GH, where he talked about spy games and multiple motives being in play. Brennan argued that he hadn't been tried because they were afraid of what would come out in court, and argued that nobody was innocent, including Anna Devine, Finola Hughes. After Brennan hinted about Carly giving him invaluable information when she came to see him at Pentonville, he dodged questions about what exactly that was. Carly didn't care as long as Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, stayed safe and hinted about coming back for another visit. But Brennan warned that she should stay far away. After Brennan acted like he was a bad man to be avoided at all costs, Carly suggested she could make up her own mind. At a diner in Albany, Fergus Byrne, Lane Davies, approached Alexis Davis, Nancy Lee Gran, table and claimed this was an accidental encounter. Alexis thought Fergus was stalking her instead and hinted about reporting him for harassment, but Fergus wanted to grill her before he left. After Fergus questioned why Alexis was trying to get her law license back after all this time, he speculated that she was playing the long game and waiting for the backlash to fade. Alexis was more interested in why Fergus went to the trouble of getting Iva Jerome, Maura West, to sign an affidavit against her, and she wondered why Neil Byrne, Joe Flanagan, never mentioned that he had brothers. Fergus admitted he didn't speak to his brothers for a decade due to a falling out over their father's estate, so he never had a chance to reconcile with Neil and Brendan Byrne, Josh Cox, before they died. However, Fergus was able to console himself with the knowledge that Alexis couldn't practice law and intended to keep it that way. At home, Brooklyn Quartermain, Amanda Sutton, comforted Harrison Chase, Josh Swickard, and vowed to get rid of whoever was at the door, but it turned out to be Tracy Quartermain, Jane Elliott, with some special wine. Since Chase and Brooklyn couldn't go on their honeymoon, Tracy gave them something fancy to bring a taste of Italy to them instead. In a moment alone with Tracy, Chase thanked her for being such a good friend to Gregory Chase, Gregory Harrison. Tracy balked at first, but then she admitted it snuck up on her how much she came to like Gregory. Chase ultimately blamed himself for Gregory passing away, since he felt he pushed his father too far with the wedding. Tracy disagreed since officiating the wedding had been a great honor for Gregory and had given him a goal to work toward. Later, Gregory's phone rang, so Chase answered Alexis' call and broke the news about Gregory's demise. Alexis was visibly devastated and clutched Gregory's medal for comfort once the call wrapped up. In Damian Spinelli's Bradford Anderson workspace, he wondered if Sam McCall, Kelly Monaco, was sure about taking the risk of investigating the FBI. Sam couldn't hack the system alone and didn't think Danny Morgan, Asher Antonizon, could handle losing Jason again, so she asked Spinelli to do this for Danny's sake if nothing else. Maxie Jones, Kirsten Storms, interrupted, so Spinelli privately explained how Sam wanted him to hack the FBI and help get Jason out from under their thumb. Although Maxie had concerns over Spinelli's disturbing updates, she got him to admit he'd do this if she wasn't part of the equation. Maxie thought Spinelli should move forward with the plan, but she warned that he absolutely could not get caught. If there was even a hint about the FBI being onto Spinelli, Maxie warned him to abandon ship. Meanwhile, Anna paid Jason a visit and got him to recap his version of events regarding the attack on Dex Heller, even Hofer. When Anna asked if Sonny Corinthos, Morris Bennard, might try to have Jason and Dex killed, Jason hoped Sonny was still smart enough to avoid crossing certain lines, though he couldn't be sure anymore. Once Jason mentioned how Carly came and talked Sonny down. Anna mentioned Brennan changing his story and claiming he stabbed himself to see Carly again. Anna was puzzled over Brennan's motives since he seemed to be genuinely attracted to Carly, but she also thought he was up to something and could be using Carly as a cover. General Hospital spoilers say Anna and Brennan will keep making sneaky moves against each other, so we'll bring you more predictions on their escalating feud. On Tuesday, May 28, General Hospital was rife with tension, secrets, and surprising revelations that left viewers on the edge of their seats. The episode was a whirlwind of emotions, beginning with Carly's shocking encounter with Brennan and culminating in a harrowing phone call that left Alexis reeling. The day started with Carly Corinthos stepping into General Hospital, her usual confidence somewhat shaken. She had been receiving mysterious warnings, and today, those cryptic messages took a corporeal form. Brennan, an enigmatic figure with ties to her past, intercepted her in the hallway. His demeanor was stern, and his eyes bore into her with a mix of warning and pity. "Carly, you need to stay far away from this," Brennan began, his voice low but urgent. Carly, never one to back down, crossed her arms defiantly. "From what exactly, Brennan? If you're going to make threats, at least have the decency to tell me why." Brennan sighed, clearly exasperated. "It's not a threat, Carly. It's a warning. The people involved in this," he paused, looking around to ensure no one was eavesdropping. "They won't hesitate to eliminate anyone who stands in their way. That includes you." Carly's eyes narrowed. She had faced threats before, but there was something about Brennan's tone that suggested this was different. More dangerous. But before she could press for more information, Brennan turned and walked away, leaving Carly with more questions than answers. Meanwhile, in another part of the hospital, Alexis Davis was going through her own personal turmoil. Her day had started relatively uneventfully, but as she was catching up on paperwork in her office, her phone rang. The number was unfamiliar, but something compelled her to answer it. "Alexis Davis," she greeted, her professional tone masking her curiosity. There was a brief silence on the other end before a voice she hadn't heard in years spoke. "Alexis, it's Helena." Alexis's blood ran cold. Helena Cassadine, her longtime nemesis, was supposed to be dead. "This isn't possible," she whispered, her hand gripping the phone tightly. "Oh, but it is, dear," Helena replied, her voice dripping with malice. "Did you really think you could be rid of me that easily?" The call was brief, but its impact was monumental. Helena's cryptic message hinted at dark days ahead, and Alexis knew she had to prepare for the worst. She immediately called her daughters, urging them to be vigilant, but she refrained from telling them the full extent of her fears. No need to worry them until she had more information. Back in the bustling corridors, Jason Morgan was on a mission of his own. He had heard whispers of an impending power struggle in Port Charles and knew he had to act quickly to protect those he cared about. He found Sam McCall in the hospital cafeteria, her face lighting up as he approached. "Jason, what's going on?" she asked, noticing the grim determination in his eyes. "We need to talk, Sam." Privately, Jason replied, glancing around the crowded room. They found an empty office, and Jason quickly filled her in on the latest developments. The mob families were on edge, and there were rumors of a new player in town, someone with enough influence to cause serious trouble. Sam listened intently, her mind racing. "So, what's our next move?" Jason's jaw tightened. "We need to find out who this new player is and what they want. And we need to do it fast." While Jason and Sam plotted their next steps, Elizabeth Weber was dealing with her own set of challenges. Her son, Cameron, had been acting out recently, and today was no different. She found him in the hospital's youth counseling center, where he had been sent after a particularly heated altercation at school. "Cam, what's going on with you?" Elizabeth asked, her voice a mix of concern and frustration. Cameron shrugged, avoiding her gaze. Nothing, Mom. Just stuff. Elizabeth knelt down, forcing him to look at her. This isn't like you, Cam. You can talk to me. Tears welled up in Cameron's eyes, and for a moment, Elizabeth saw the vulnerable boy behind the tough exterior. It's just, everything's changing, Mom. I don't know how to handle it. Elizabeth hugged him tightly, wishing she could take away his pain. We'll get through this together, Cam. I promise. As the day drew to a close, Carly found herself alone in her office, replaying Brennan's warning in her mind. She knew she had to get to the bottom of whatever was happening, but she also knew she couldn't do it alone. Picking up her phone, she dialed the one person she knew she could count on.